Welcome again to Tiger Carpenter. Today I'm going to repurpose these steel posts because I'm no longer using them. So I'm going to take them out of the ground, clean them up and make a really good clamps out of them. So let's get started. Yeah! Yes! Oh, wow! Water. Wow. Now I'm going to cut the stainless steel flat bar. Okay, so there you have it, 24 pieces. They are not perfectly the same, but they don't have to be. This is the ultimate clamping system, which is a four-way pressure. It will apply pressure both from the sides of the glued panels as well as from the top and from the bottom. For the clamping mechanism, I decided to make identical on both sides, even though we only need the moving jaw on one side, but it just makes sense to me to make everything identical. Anyway, the components are very cheap. You just use the long coupling nut and then the bolts and the nuts, weld them together, and then the threaded rod M10 will be moving through the coupling nut. So the end of the threaded rod will have this handle. It will be welded and allow me to put more pressure while turning. These side bolts will allow me to attach it to the scissor pieces. And here is my welding setup. And in between the vise, which I normally use for the drill press, I place these raising L shapes. So I already squeezed the bolts together. Now I'm going to weld it right here. Okay, I'm using 72 amps. I'm putting the stainless steel pieces in the freezer so that the drilling will be going much easier. Okay, now I'm going to drill the holes in the metal leaves that will be holding our clamping mechanism. This is a 3mm and 190mm long stainless steel. So I just took out the piece out from the freezer, out of the freezer, -5 Celsius and 22 Fahrenheit. Just put some lubrication on the drill bit. It really makes it so much easier to drill through the stainless steel when you put it in the freezer. Done. Okay, so there you have it, 3 pairs of nearly identical jaws. Okay, now is the time to drill the countersink in the hardened stainless steel. I'm going to drill the holes halfway through these aluminum columns, which will be serving as pushing element for my heavy-duty clamps. Looks good. But it looks very good. Okay, so we finished the tapping. I'm going to test it with the M10 bolt. Now I'm going to cut the spacer. This spacer will allow holding the clamping peg in place. Okay, so there we have it, 12 spacers which I have just finished tapping to M5. Okay, so this spacer is slightly taller than the aluminum peg. These are M5 stainless steel bolts. So that's how it looks like. The stainless steel bolts are below or flush with the surface. So here on top of these spacers we will have the narrow aluminum plate that will be holding everything together. Spacer, M5 bolts and the aluminum peg, and here will be the M10. Okay, and now I'm going to touch up the stainless steel clamp holders because there is some burr from countersinking. I'm going to drill it, all the 6 pieces at once. Looks good. How this aluminum plate will hold the aluminum peg. Now I'm going to drill the 10mm holes for the threaded rod. That these M5 bolts will be going through. So that's basically our assembly. So as we rotate the threaded rod M10, it will be applying clamping pressure to the stainless steel flat bar, which will be attached to the wooden pedal clamp. So this aluminum plate holds the whole assembly in place. Time to attach the wooden pads. I will attach them to the stainless steel flat bar. It will give me the stiffness and rigidity of the clamp. The threaded rod will be pushing on the stainless steel, so there is no wear. So now we just have to drill the holes. Okay, so now we have all the clamps completed. Okay, now I am making this wooden piece flush with the stainless steel flat bar. Okay, now I'm going to give it a little bit of sanding. Okay, and now finally I can apply the finish to my clamping pads, and I will be using boiled linseed oil. Boiled linseed oil is my favorite finish. Okay, it's time to cut the threaded rod. The total length is 100 centimeters. So I want to cut it into 3 equal parts. So that will be 333 mm. Okay, now I'm going to cut the handle. Okay, because welding is not my profession, my welding is not beautiful. It does serve the purpose because it is strong. It's not going to break. It really became like one solid piece, but I'm just going to paint it to cover my imperfections. Now is the third coat of the boiled linseed oil. Okay, let's drill the holes. The bar is 145 centimeters. I'm going to leave 2.5 centimeters at the end for the first hole. So we are left with 140, and I will drill the hole every 20 centimeters. So straight away I'm going to file it. And finally, today is a great day when we are ready to assemble these ultimate 4-way pressure clamps, which I believe are the best design out there. I have tried all the possible types of clamps, and I believe these are the ultimate ones. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do before the assembly is to put the canvas tape or duct tape on the surface that will be contacting the glue ups, the wooden panel boards, so that the paint that I covered my metal bars won't transfer to the wood. It will also protect the glue from sticking to the bars. Okay, there you have it. I ran out of red tape, so we have some color variety. So now I'm going to assemble it. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do will be putting the stainless steel flat bar together with the wooden part of the clamp. I put already 4 coats of boiled linseed oil. So let's assemble one. I have here M5 flat washer head bolt that goes into the recess. So this one has to be flush or even under sunk. We don't need washers on the wood because the flat head already acts as a washer. Okay. This one goes in. It's flush here. I'm going to put some washers, even though they are not really necessary. It will just add some spring action. Okay, let me tighten it up. Okay. The whole purpose for this gate, it's a holder so that the clamp will be held in one piece. So now I will put this threaded rod into the aluminum peg. Okay. It can be loose, it doesn't matter, as long as it's held as one piece. These are stainless steel bars, which are 2.5 or 3 millimeters thick. It was hardened stainless steel. It was really hard to cut and drill, believe me. Okay, so this will be the scissors. Tighten this one a little bit. Okay, now you can start to imagine how it's going to be. Okay. I have these 4 blocks which I will use for the demonstration purpose, even though I don't want to really glue them up at the moment because they're only pre-milled. They are not identical. I want to have the T-bar sticking out on one side. So this is the jaw that I will be never moving. It will be always in this hole on the bar. Okay, so we have the lower bar done. Now we can assemble the upper bar in the same set of holes, which are the last ones. So now I can simulate the movement of the jaw. Okay, so let's tighten up the scissor blades. So this side is done. So here we will put the wing nut so that it's easy to move this jaw. I will turn the moving jaw to nearly touch the wood. I'm trying to make them symmetric to stick out the same amount at the bottom and the top. And now we can start tightening them. One quarter turn on left and 1 quarter turn on the right. So that is the maximum pressure that you can imagine, both on the top and the bottom, on the sides. That will make sure that your glued panel is perfectly flat. Just to remind you, these pieces are not even. If they were, these clamps will force these pieces into alignment. Let's see how the bottom looks like. You can see the bottom is perfectly flat. So there you have it. I believe these are the ultimate clamps, four-way pressure clamps. the best design that I have seen. This is just a prototype. I will be replacing the bars with the stainless steel tubes, and these threaded rods also will be replaced with the stainless steel components. Everything else here is already stainless steel, like these flat bars. This is aluminum. Okay, project complete. Very, very pleased. As you can see, it is the best design that you can imagine for clamping your glue-up panels. It will make sure the top and bottom is absolutely flat. The pressure is applied on the sides of the stock as well as the top bottom